Connecting a neutral wire to a hot wire on a different branch circuit, especially when other loads have grounded neutrals, strongly suggests a short to ground is the cause of the tripped breaker and blown ballast. Here's a detailed explanation. When the neutral wire is incorrectly connected to the hot wire, it establishes a direct, low-resistance path for current to flow. This bypasses the intended load and creates a shortcut back to the source. The key factor here is the presence of grounded neutrals in the other circuit loads, specifically computers and other equipment as mentioned. These grounded neutrals provide a return path for the current, completing the circuit and creating the short. The sequence of events is as follows. Firstly, the neutral wire is mistakenly connected to the hot wire of a different branch circuit. Secondly, this creates a voltage potential between the hot wire and the grounded neutrals of other devices connected to a separate circuit. Thirdly, because the neutral is now energized, it effectively becomes another hot wire. Fourthly, current flows from this energized neutral through any connected equipment to ground. Fifthly, the other loads with grounded neutrals provide a return path to the system ground, completing the circuit. Sixthly, this creates a large and rapid increase in current flow due to the low impedance path. Seventhly, the branch circuit breaker, designed to protect against overcurrent and short circuit conditions, detects this excessive current. Eighthly, the breaker trips, interrupting the circuit and preventing further damage. Ninthly, the ballast blowing up is a strong indicator of a significant overcurrent event, which is consistent with a short to ground. It's important to understand the difference between a short circuit and a simple overcurrent condition. A short circuit involves current flowing through an unintended path with very low resistance, leading to a rapid surge in current. An overcurrent, on the other hand, typically involves a higher than normal current flowing through the intended circuit path, perhaps due to an overloaded circuit or a malfunctioning device. While an overcurrent can also trip a breaker, the rapid and destructive nature of the ballast failure strongly suggests a short circuit. The grounded neutrals are crucial in understanding this scenario. In a properly wired circuit, the neutral wire provides a return path for current to the source, and it is connected to ground at the service panel. However, if other devices have their neutrals grounded, they create alternate paths to ground. When the neutral is energized due to the wiring mistake, these alternate paths become significant. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, specifically addresses grounding and bonding requirements to minimize the risk of ground faults and ensure safety. Section 250 details the requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems, including the proper connection of neutral conductors to ground at the service entrance. The fact that the ballast failed is significant. Ballasts are designed to regulate the current flow through fluorescent lamps. When subjected to excessive voltage or current, they can overheat and fail, sometimes explosively. This type of failure is more common with short-circuit conditions than with simple overcurrent situations. In this particular scenario, it's unlikely that the breaker tripped solely due to a pre-existing overcurrent condition if the hot wire had been previously disconnected as suggested. The accidental connection of the neutral to the hot wire is the most probable cause of the event. The presence of grounded neutrals on other circuits exacerbates the problem and creates the short circuit path. To further illustrate this, consider the following analogy. Imagine a water pipe system where the normal flow of water is through a specific route designed for a certain pressure. Now imagine that a bypass valve is opened, creating a direct connection from the high pressure side to a drain. This would cause a sudden surge of water through the bypass, potentially damaging the pipes and rapidly emptying the tank. Similarly, the accidental connection of the neutral to the hot wire creates a bypass for the electrical current, leading to a surge that trips the breaker and damages the ballast. It's also important to consider the role of impedance in this scenario. Impedance is the total opposition to current flow in an alternating current circuit, including resistance and reactance. In a normal circuit, the load provides impedance, limiting the current flow. However, in a short circuit, the impedance is very low, allowing a large amount of current to flow. The lower the impedance, the higher the current. Grounded neutrals provide a low impedance path to ground, which is why they contribute to the severity of the short circuit. To determine the exact cause of the incident, it would be helpful to perform some additional testing. Firstly, verify the wiring of all the affected circuits to ensure that there are no other wiring errors. Secondly, use a multimeter to measure the voltage between the neutral and ground at various points in the system. A significant voltage reading would indicate a problem with the grounding or bonding. Thirdly, check the grounding electrode system to ensure that it is properly installed and connected. This includes verifying the size and condition of the grounding electrode conductor and the grounding electrodes. The 2008 National Electrical Code provides guidelines for the proper sizing of grounding conductors based on the size of the service entrance conductors in Table 250.66. In conclusion, it is highly probable that the breaker tripped due to a short to ground condition caused by the accidental connection of the neutral wire to the hot wire. The grounded neutrals of other devices provided a return path for the current, completing the circuit and leading to the rapid increase in current that tripped the breaker and blew the ballast. While an overcurrent condition is possible, the specific details of the event point strongly towards a short to ground as the primary cause. Further investigation and testing can help confirm this conclusion and prevent future incidents. The NEC emphasizes the importance of proper wiring and grounding to ensure electrical safety. Understanding the principles of grounding and bonding is essential for electricians and anyone working with electrical systems. Correctly identifying and resolving wiring errors can prevent dangerous situations and protect equipment from damage. In addition to the points already discussed, it's crucial to emphasize the importance of proper polarity in electrical wiring. Polarity refers to the correct identification and connection of the hot, neutral, and ground wires. Incorrect polarity can lead to dangerous situations such as energized appliance chassis or reverse polarity receptacles. The NEC requires that all electrical outlets and equipment be wired with correct polarity. This means that the hot wire must be connected to the hot terminal, the neutral wire to the neutral terminal, and the ground wire to the ground terminal. Reverse polarity can create a shock hazard, as it can energize the metal parts of appliances. For example, if an appliance is plugged into a reverse polarity outlet, the chassis of the appliance may become energized, even when the appliance is turned off. If a person touches the energized chassis and a grounded object, they can receive an electric shock. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are designed to protect against electric shock by detecting ground faults. A ground fault occurs when current flows through an unintended path to ground, such as through a person's body. GFCIs quickly interrupt the circuit when they detect a ground fault, preventing serious injury or death. The NEC requires GFCIs in many locations such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. It's also important to understand the concept of bonding in electrical systems. Bonding refers to the intentional connection of metal parts to create a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source. Bonding helps to ensure that ground faults are quickly cleared by the circuit breaker, preventing electric shock hazards. The NEC requires bonding of metal enclosures, raceways, and equipment in electrical systems. The bonding conductor must be sized according to the NEC tables based on the size of the circuit conductors. In addition to grounding and bonding, surge protection is another important aspect of electrical safety. Surge protectors are designed to protect against voltage spikes, which can damage electronic equipment. Voltage spikes can be caused by lightning strikes, power surges from the utility company, or internal switching events. Surge protectors work by diverting excess voltage to ground, preventing it from reaching the protected equipment. The NEC recommends surge protection for sensitive electronic equipment, such as computers, televisions, and audio equipment. Furthermore, arc fault circuit interrupters, or RFCIs, are designed to protect against fires caused by arcing faults. Arcing faults occur when electricity jumps between two conductors, creating a high-temperature arc. Arcing faults can occur due to damaged wiring, loose connections, or faulty appliances. RFCIs detect the characteristics of arcing faults and quickly interrupt the circuit, preventing fires. NEC requires RFCIs in many locations, such as bedrooms and living rooms. It's also important to consider the impact of harmonics on electrical systems. Harmonics, a distortion of the normal sinusoidal waveform of alternating current. Harmonics can be caused by nonlinear loads, such as computers, electronic ballasts, and variable frequency drives. Harmonics can cause overheating of transformers and conductors, as well as interference with electronic equipment. The NEC recommends measures to mitigate harmonics, such as using harmonic filters or oversized transformers. Proper electrical system design and installation are crucial for safety and reliability. Electrical systems should be designed and installed by qualified electricians who are familiar with the NEC and local codes. Regular inspections and maintenance can help to identify and correct potential problems before they become hazards. In addition to the technical aspects, it's important to emphasize the importance of electrical safety training. Workers who work with or around electrical equipment should receive proper training on electrical safety procedures. Training should cover topics such as lockout, tagout, personal protective equipment, and hazard identification. Electrical safety training can help to prevent accidents and injuries. In this specific scenario described, the accidental connection of a neutral to the hot wire created a dangerous situation that could have resulted in serious injury or death. It's important to take all necessary precautions to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future. This includes verifying the wiring of all circuits, using proper lockout-tagout procedures, and providing regular electrical safety training to workers. In conclusion, electrical safety is a critical aspect of workplace safety. Proper electrical system design, installation, and maintenance are essential for preventing accidents and injuries. The electrical safety training can help to ensure that workers are aware of the hazards and how to protect themselves. By following the NEC and other applicable codes and standards, it's possible to create a safe and reliable electrical system. The information provided in this narration is intended for general educational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer for specific electrical design or troubleshooting advice.